Peace, what up? My name is Homeboy Sandman. I'd like to start off by giving a big shout out to everybody in Hungary. Peace and love and what up? My name is Homeboy Sandman, as I said, and I'm a musician. I make hip-hop music. Primarily, that's what I do. I'm also a performer. Also, I'm a writer, a journalist. Growing up in Queens, the first record that made me fall in love with the genre was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. That was the first rap tape that I really knew front to back, really memorized, and it just blew me away. Made me a huge hip hop fan. I never turned back. Do you remember the moment when you finally? I do remember the moment when I finally decided that I would leave everything else and pursue my dreams to be a full-time MC. I do remember that moment. It was the moment when I wrote my first sober rhyme in December of 2006. I was sitting in a chair similar to that chair over there, and I was in a basement in Hempstead, New York, which is in Long Island, and I was writing this rhyme, and it was the first time I had ever wrote a fat rhyme sober, and I saw that I could do it. So I decided that was going to be what I did for the rest of, that was going to be what I did. How did I get signed to Stone's Throw, and how does it feel to be part of such a legendary label? John Wayne introduced Peanut Butter Wolf to my stuff, which big shouts to Wiggy Wayne, Wayniac. It feels amazing to be part of Stone's Throw. They're one of the last labels that signs people for being good at music. One of the last music labels that does that, if not the last. That has a nice, significant, substantial worldwide following. So it's amazing, and it's great talent there. There's great people there. Peanut Butter Wolf is a phenomenal human being, and so a lot of other people there. I've always been a huge fan of Black Thought. Do I remember the first time I met Black Thought? Yeah, I was in college at University of Pennsylvania, and for a website that I was writing for, they were like, yo, you got to go cover the Roots show and interview Black Thought. Which, as soon as I got to Black Thought, I was just so nervous that I just said, yo, man, it's great to meet you. You always been there for me. And he said, good looking out, good looking out. I couldn't bring myself to ask to interview him or anything. It was the first time I met Black Thought. If I could choose only one producer to do a whole album with, who would that be? Two on You Bros. People often criticize today's hip hop and say that it's much worse compared to the good old days. What do you think of the current state of hip hop? I'll get back to that question. You're one of the very few artists who are not on Twitter. Was this a conscious decision, or you simply don't care about social media? It was a conscious decision. I don't have time. As far as my time prioritization, I feel my time is better served doing other things besides being on Twitter. Is there a new album in the making? If so, what is it called and what is that about? The next joint coming out is going to be called White Sands, produced entirely by Paul White. And there was that question about if I get a chance to work with just one producer. I have had that chance. Cool Herc Fertile Crescent was produced entirely by LRTNC. All That I Hold Dear was produced entirely by M. Slago. White Sands coming out is produced entirely by Paul White. And See Now Chef, as I mentioned earlier, will be dropping at some point. It's produced by the Twinkie Bros. Do you have anything else you really want to share with the Hungarian fans? Yeah, just, thanks for supporting good music. One of a kind music, I really appreciate that. Shouts to my brother Sosa on the camera work. And then getting back to the question, what do I think about? I think there's great hip hop out. I'm a fan of Over Mike Eagle, who I'm on tour with right now. Right now I'm in Albuquerque in the hotel room. I'm a huge fan of I Am Many, who I hope to tour with. I'm a huge fan of Blue, and I'm a huge fan of Stereo Lab. I'm a huge fan of everybody making great hip hop music. And lastly, salute.